Welcome to Season 5 of Swiss Impact with Banerjee. I'm Sveta.
And I am Ben. The topic of Season 5 is impactful investments. How can you make a difference with your capital?
Our guests, who are managing impact investment funds, business owners, thought leaders, will empower you to invest with impact.
In this season, we will showcase various impact investment funds who are contributing to SDGs, better known as Sustainable Development Goals as defined by the United Nations.
There is no excuse. Shift your capital to create positive change in our world. Your children will be happier, you will feel fulfilled, and make money.
We will broadcast every Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Central European Time, here on Swiss Impact with Banerjee. You get more when you give back.
So always invest with impact.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone.
Welcome back to our episode 18 of Season 5, dedicated to impactful investment opportunities. Impact investing is part of the world, and currently one of the most discussed topics is the war of Russia with Ukraine. I think it is absolutely clear that at Swiss Impact with Banerjee, we only support peace and solutions for global challenges. Therefore, we want to show today Russia beyond the war with Ukraine, because many forget that there are still social entrepreneurs who have nothing to do with politics and trying to do good for the world and people.
And I have news for our viewers. Now, our programs are also available as apps on Android TV, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Roku.
Thus making it even more easier to find and watch us. Our invitation remains open to you, your friends and family, to join and watch us on one of many channels we have.
And all businesses who are looking for support or funding and consider yourself impactful are most welcome to apply or connect to us or connect with us. You can use the email address apply@iisolutions.ch.
Great. Ben, I hope you prepared some politically correct and interesting story for today.
So before I start, I just want to spread the very happy news that Bolsonaro had lost the election in Brazil, meaning that Amazon forest again has some hope.
Wow, and yippee.
So can I share 2 short stories today with your permission?
2?
Yes.
Only today.
Okay, thank you. To start with, we know that COP27 is starting this Sunday, and everyone is very critical, including myself, whether we are going to keep the 2% change or increase of the global warming with the present momentum and motivation of our political leaders. There is no way we believe that the climate change will be aligned to the Paris Agreement with present situation.
Right, yeah, I remember that, of course. But the way we are doing things, the temperature will most probably rise certainly above 2 degrees.
Exactly, that was my point. But if we go back the time and remember that in the year 2000, it was calculated that the global temperature would rise with 4.5% to 8% by the year 2100. So it seems that we have come a long way. We have made a profound changes. And even during one of our previous interviews with the head of WMO, he even hinted at a global temperature change of 1.5 degrees centigrade. Of course, there is still a lot to be done. So please don't get me wrong. But we should stop and appreciate what we have achieved since 2000 till 2022.
Well, this is really true, Ben, what you're saying. We sometimes fail to stop and appreciate what we have achieved, and be pleased with what we have, especially in these dark days of war.
Speaking of war, that was going to be my second point.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much I love reading history books, my favorite pastime. And what I learned is that often during the war, science and technology develops the fastest, and usually after the war, people who are scarred and devastated with personal losses, or who have been kicked out or forced out of their comfort zones, want to change the world for the better. Look how beautifully the European civilizations and societies evolved and developed after the Second World War.
I suppose you're talking about present war of Ukraine with Russia.
Exactly. So I sincerely believe that positive change will come out of this war too. To start with, look at the very, very powerful forces of good working inside Russia, which most of us in the West are completely unaware of, like very innovative social enterprises.
Absolutely. Today's guest is an experienced social entrepreneur, an expert who has been expert for decades in Russia in the sector of social entrepreneurship. With this, I'd like to welcome our not only guest of today, but also friend and colleague, Mr. Sergei Ponomarev from Impact Investing Solutions. Welcome, Sergei.
Hello. Hi, Ben and Sveta. Very glad to see you.
Same here.
Welcome.
How are you? Where are you right now?
Right now I'm in Bulgaria. Yeah, previously I lived in Russia, but yeah, I have to leave it after the February, and now I'm on my new journey. And yeah, but still, I hope that during our conversation, I want to show you that in Russia there are a lot of people who do not destroy other cities but create something new and help other people. So I hope it will be interesting for you and for our viewers.
Okay, but Sergey, Russia is an extremely big country. From where do you come from?
I'm from Ural, city Perm. It's just on the border between Asia and Europe.
Okay.
Amazing. I've been there, you know. All right, Sergey, let me quickly introduce you to our audience who maybe don't know you yet. So, you are a candidate of political science, a PhD, consultant, researcher, expert in the field of social entrepreneurship. You are also been a docent of Perm State National Research University for many, many years, expert of the Center for Civil Analysis and Independent Research, so-called Granny Center. You were also leading trainer of the social entrepreneurship laboratory of the Our Future Foundation, which is one of the biggest foundations in Russia. You also conducted more than 500 trainings and events for NGO leaders, social entrepreneurs, and government officials in Russia and Europe. So you're pretty known in Russia, as it looks like. And moreover, you're also quite active abroad, attended 25 internships in 15 countries, including countries like USA, Great Britain, Latvia, Taiwan, and others. And of course, you've been member of jury of various social entrepreneurs competitions. The great engagement, you're absolutely in our sector.
Yeah, that's right. That is why I always have a problem with self-identification because I worked in different sectors and I have a rather wide experience. Yes, that's true.
Sergey, would you share with us maybe your story? You know, how did you end up in the sector of social entrepreneurship in Russia? It's not very common.
Yes, I started my career 20 years ago from non-commercial organizations. I went into youth memorial. Maybe you know, we deal with history about political repressions in Russia. I started there as a volunteer. Later on, I continue it in research organizations, Granny Center. We realized, organized different projects concerned about the cooperation between civil society institutes and the local authorities. And yeah, in 2018, I was invited as the leading teacher into Fund Our Future, into the Laboratory of Social Entrepreneurship. Yeah, and I studied to manage federal accelerators, workshops, webinars, seminars, and so on. So yeah, this is my way to social entrepreneurship, and I really really like it. It's one of my favorite sphere.
Perfect. And in today's world where everybody, all the news and everything is full of Russia, can you tell us a little bit about what is the situation for social entrepreneurs in Russia today?
Yeah, well, it's I must say different. It depends on the sector. Obviously, after February, the opportunity space for social investors has shrank dramatically, and I think that a lot of social entrepreneurs will suffer in nearest future. But mostly entrepreneurs whose activity is connected with so-called secondary demands. So it's culture, sports, entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
and so on. Some sectors like education, healthcare, kids learning, yeah, it will stay stable. It will continue to work because people have to need to eat something, to heal, and to learn. And yeah, I think that some sectors even will grow up, especially, for example, in eternal tourism, yeah, because of international isolation, and also such fields like activities like producing of wheelchairs, artificial limbs, everything, services around medical nurses and psychological rehabilitation. Unfortunately, they will also
Mm-hmm.
grow up in Russia. Yeah. So the
Absolutely.
situation is different. Yeah.
Yeah. Sergey, you're expert in social entrepreneurship, but what do you understand under that? So can you provide your definition so we are on the same page? What is social entrepreneurship for you?
Yeah, I'm often asked about who social entrepreneurs are. There is official definition like social entrepreneurship is a business aimed at solving social problems. So goal is social, but the instruments are from business environment. Yes, it's some sort of cooperation of these two sectors. I'm more like the definition like change makers. So social entrepreneurs, they are really the change makers, people who produce social changes. They produce progress in our society, and it's really very interesting. So they invent new products, they invent new services, they invent new ideas and implement them in reality. And well, as for example, Muhammad Yunus, who won Nobel Prize, he invented a new banking product, yes, micro lending for the poor family, and he changed life of a lot of people in Bangladesh and in other countries. And yeah, so for me, social entrepreneurs, change makers, they produce changes for the better future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Europeans are also liking to use this word change maker, become a
Yeah.
change maker. Yeah, so it's positive change, of course, what we mean. And so, why it is so important to you? Why didn't you become a normal entrepreneur expert or something?
Well, first of all, it's really very interesting to study and to research all these social techniques or social engineering. It's very interesting people with whom you communicate. They are really very intelligent, very unusual sometimes. So they think different. Really, it's very interesting. But if to speak more practical for me, well, I've worked in different sectors. And for example, when I was working in business industry in a big, large corporation, It was a little bit boring for me because the main task was just to sell some technical equipment more, just to sell it more than in previous month, and I didn't see a lot of sense in this. But on the contrary, on the other side, when I was working in northern governmental organization, or for example in academic sphere, you have a lot of freedom for a lot of space for your creativity and self-realization. It's also very interesting, but there is a lack of money. And I appreciate social entrepreneurship because it combines the freedom of creativity and financial independence, financial stability. So you are dealing with interesting tasks, and you can earn money for yourself and for your family, and you can achieve, you can decide actual social problems. I think it's win-win strategy.
Yeah. But you mentioned, for example, Muhammad Yunus, who
Yeah.
kind of spread the word of micro lending in Bangladesh. So, can you tell us a bit about the history of social entrepreneurship in Russia? Or a name, maybe some names of people who initiated it, like Muhammad Yunus in Bangladesh.
Yeah, well, there are different reference points about social entrepreneurship in Russia. Some believe that the first Russian social entrepreneur was Ivan Kronstatsky. He lived in the second half of 19th century, and he is famous for his first charitable workhouses. So he created some production centers where people with disabilities and representatives of different vulnerable groups were able to earn some money. So he was the first who created this social employment model. Yeah, if I can say so. After that, when the revolution happened in Russia, there were no social entrepreneurs because entrepreneurship was restricted, and except the short period of NEP, new economic policy in Russia. So there were no social entrepreneurs at all till the Soviet Union collapse. And in the 1990s, first period of wild capitalism started, the period of accumulation of first capital, as we call it. And the first serious player on this field appeared only in 2007. It was the fund Our Future. It was the private fund of Vagita Leperov. Nowadays, it's the former president of Lukoil company. It was his private initiative and his private money. So he decided to support social entrepreneurship on federal level. The fund organized first national competition for social entrepreneurs and many other initiatives, a laboratory of social entrepreneurship competition, and many other things. And yeah, so it was first very important point, and much things were done by such by ordinary people, by private investors, by business pioneers, what is called just from grassroots. And only in 2019 the state recognized that social entrepreneurs exist in Russia and adopted a federal law about
So
social
how the
entrepreneurship. So
Russian
long
government,
history. Yeah.
Sergei, how then the Russian government was treating and supporting social entrepreneurs once they recognized their existence?
Well, first of all, the government decided its own problem because the weight of social obligation from the previous period from the Soviet Union was very high. It was very heavy. And yeah, the government task was to invite private initiatives, private sector into the social sphere, which usually was monopolized by the state in Russia. Yeah, but that's why it was, and it still remains interest in this topic, and we try to support social entrepreneurs. I can say that there are about two specialists, experts say that there are about 20 200 different measures of support, but usually we count that government created infrastructure of support, network of regional centers of social innovations, centers of social of innovations in social sphere. There are some grants from Ministry of Economy, not very high, from up to $7,000, just to motivate people to try it. What else? There are some support with rent of municipal real estate. Yes, there are information support with advertisement, with advertising. They also organize some forum conferences and education. There is a free education for employees of social ventures. And some other measures also to support social enterprise. So yeah, they try to support this sphere.
So, Sergey, would you say that Russia also, at least I don't know how the situation is now, was supporting sustainable development goals and tried to contribute to that?
Well, if to speak about SDG, I think it has a very bright start 2 or 3 years ago. Well, as far as you know, SDGs were adopted in 2015. Yes, and in Russia, it came a little bit later. I guess maybe in 2019, the post of president advisor was adopted. Anatoly Chubais, the former head of Rusnana. He was advisor of president for social sustainable development goals, but now he also is in immigration. he left Russia, and this topic, of course, is not in mainstream. It still continues, but I can say that it's rather popular in Russia. Yeah.
So, like concluding that SDGs are not on the prime agenda at the moment, as we can understand, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, for the people of West, we generally hear of all these big companies from Russia. You have Gazprom and Lukoil and all these huge companies. How is their attitude towards social entrepreneurship? Are they supportive? Are they helping, financing?
Big businesses also very different. For most of them, it's social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship is some kind of game or another sort of charity. So it's like a game for them, not very serious. But there are some companies, like Lukoil, as you mentioned, and OMK, for example. I also can name them, that are rather serious in this sphere. For example, OMK, they organized annual competition for social entrepreneurs, and the thing is that every big company in Russia has to be socially responsible. No options. Yes,
which is good.
But you have no choice. You have to invest money in the territory where you work, and someone prefer to invest in church, in charity, in sports, or other sort of this kind. But yes, companies like Lukoil or OMK, they see that they can invest with the help of social enterprises in creating new jobs, in creating new services. They see it like they see a real economical effects from this activity. That's why they try to support it and work also systematically. Social entrepreneurs. But yes, if to speak about the federal level, interaction is rather low. It's not very often. It's not a typical story.
Right. Let's dive a little bit deeper to the social entrepreneurship landscape. Can you tell us, like, how many social entrepreneurs are there in Russia at all? And how would you describe a typical social entrepreneur?
As far as I know, right now in federal registry, there are about 7,500 social entrepreneurs. Yes, and they spread
500.
7,000.
7,500.
7,500.
7,500.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah, so they spread rather differently in different regions. There are regions leaders, like for example Moscow, St. Petersburg, Nizhny Novgorod, Ufa, Kazan, and some others. Mostly it's Central Federal District and Privolsky Federal District. As for other regions, it's not a widespread story, and the average number of social entrepreneurship is about maybe 100, 150 social entrepreneurs in one region. Yeah, so it looks like this. If to speak about the portrait of social entrepreneur, usually it's woman. I know the proportion in social
Well, who
entrepreneurship
else?
is about 70 to 30. So 70% of women, or women, 30% of men. In this sector, it's usual for all social sphere in Russia. Usually. With high education, married, with one or two, or even sometimes even three children, with wide, with big administrative or public experience. Usually, it's former directors or leaders of libraries, schools, or local authorities. Women with a lot of energy who wants to work for themselves, but
Looking
with
for
low.
meaning.
Yeah, but yeah. Ask or comment. What do you want to say?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
This is the typical portrait.
The
So
typical.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
And but the social entrepreneur has a lot of sectors, angles. So what would you think is the most popular field of social entrepreneurs in Russia?
well, I can say on first place, it's the education, and primarily education. So everything is what is connected with kids and family. Different private kindergartens, programs for how to read fast, how to learn English from 3 years and more. So everything, yeah, connected with education. On the second place, I think it's social services and programs, nurses, services for old people, services for people with disabilities, private boarding houses, also very popular. Now we have a burst of private boarding houses for old people in Russia. I think this is the second place. On the third place, different models of employment. Again, for people with disabilities, for mothers with kids, lonely mothers with kids and others, or for orphans. On the fourth place, it's a sport and everything around a healthy way of life, rehabilitation, tourism also growing very fast. And on the fifth, I think it's cultural projects, preservation of traditions, drama, theaters, handicrafts, so on. So I think this is top five. Yeah.
I suggest let's watch some video about them so we can see who are these people
Yeah.
who do good in Russia.
Then at least I can believe it, because till now I haven't seen any.
Okay, let's watch.
There are so many wonderful projects in Russia, and this is just the top of an iceberg, the most popular and famous ones. Let's start. The first tour company in Russia specializing in tourism for disabled travelers since 2004, Liberty. Founders Natalia Gasparyan and Maria Bondar provide tours for foreign wheelchair travelers in St. Petersburg, Moscow, and other Russian cities. They also assist Russian people with disabilities traveling around the world. The company is the recognized leader in the area of inclusive tourism, winner of the award Impuls Dobra, an official Russian tour operator, member of European Network of Accessible Tourism. A striking example of social entrepreneurship focused on socialization disabled people through tourism. Great idea and great company. For more information, visit their website. Kolomna Fruit Candy, historical museum and modern production of fruit candy by Russian historic recipes. Natalia Nikitina and her friend Elena Dmitrieva established Kolomna's Museum of Forgotten Flavors in 2009. Nowadays, it's a big creative cluster of Kolomna Posad, which includes several museums, one factory and a cafeteria. Their enterprises have created hundreds of jobs and each museum welcomes over 50,000 visitors annually. Souvenirs sold in the museum shops range from boxes of Kolomna pastila, jams to herbal teas and traditional breads. When you will be in Russia, Kolomna is not far away from Moscow and you can easily spend a day there. Think about it. Charity Shop is a network of charitable shops with more than 50 containers for collecting clothes from the citizens. Daria Alexeyeva opened her first charitable shop in 2014. She asked friends to hand over unnecessary clothes, selected the best and offered for sale. Later on, Daria created the fund Second Brief. Today, the fund has about 50 points of reception of clothes for 6 charity shops in Moscow, Kostroma and Yaroslavl. More than 300 tons of clothes per year pass through this structure. Forbes magazine included Daria into annual rating 30 under 30. Wonderful and very actual project. Kokabella, cream honey production in small Russian village Malый Turish near Yekaterinburg. Guzel Sanjapova saw the employment problem in her native village and decided to solve it with the help of social business. Together with her father, they decided to produce cream honey by adding berries to make it less sweet and tender. She gave jobs to mostly old people of this village. She built a playground for kids and has started to develop ecotourism there. Not long ago, there was a big rock concert and now they have a built community center. Guzel revives the Malый Turish. Very inspiring story how one small girl can save her own village. And finally, on the first place, man with iron willpower, Roman Aranin from Kaliningrad. Roman was a military pilot, but then he fell down while paragliding. The result is an almost complete lack of ability to move independently. But he didn't give up. Together with colleagues, he modernized existing wheelchairs, making them suitable for off-road, to be able to go to the forest or anywhere you want. Roman opened the Observer company. Now he plans to build a new plant in Kaliningrad, creating new jobs for disabled wheelchair users. Roman had already helped to equip for people with disabilities more than 15 airports, 8 specialized beaches, several museums, university buildings, and so on. Absolutely amazing man who stays free even in a wheelchair and help others to overcome obstacles.
This was
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah,
My first
there's a
question would be,
okay.
are these organizations still active?
Yes, they are still on board. This is it was one of my projects on YouTube channel. 3 years ago, I've recorded such small episodes about social entrepreneurs and for social entrepreneurs with tips, rating, use, and so on. And yeah, when I prepared to our dialogue, I wanted to create a new rating, but then I realized that yes, this is this is the latest still 3 years past, and yeah, it's a little bit a problem because we don't see any new names on the federal level, on federal agenda. I'm absolutely sure that there are a lot of names on regional level, on municipal levels, but if to speak about the whole country, who can represent Russia, yes, this is top five. It's absolutely actual.
Uh-huh. And Sergey, do you see any possibility for international cooperation with the social entrepreneurs?
in Russia?
Uh, well, it's really hard right now because there is a law about foreign agency and
Mhm.
yeah, foreign finance. It's a little bit risky nowadays, but you can easily cooperate with these people just on private level and to I know that a lot of people want to communicate with social entrepreneurs from Europe, from United States, from other countries, just in order to change experience and to share best practices. So I think that on personal level, yes, they will be happy to talk and to share their experiences. But as for institutional cooperation and especially I'm not talking about investments. It's a little bit hard right now.
Okay.
Mhm.
But you have traveled and you have also lived in different countries in different places. What, in your opinion, would be the key differences of social entrepreneurs in Europe and in Russia?
Mm, Um, well, if to speak about main differences, first of all, I think gender. I've already mentioned because in Russia it's 80, sometimes 70, or sometimes 80% of social entrepreneurs are women. In Europe, from my point of view, maybe I'm wrong, and I would say it's 50-50 or maybe 60 to 40. I don't know exactly, but I see this difference. Um, Another thing, it's the attitude towards business, because in Russia, attitude to social entrepreneur, just to any business, it's like my personal fortress. My business is my personal fortress. It's something very private. All others have to stay away. It's business loves silence. This is our cow, and we milk it. Such a Russian verb, proverb, and yeah. It's really very different from, for example, with European practice. When people start business, they try to involve as much people as possible
Mhm.
because they prefer cooperation style and they prefer some sharing models. Yeah, this is really very bright difference because well, competition of course is everywhere, but
Mhm.
cooperation helps you to grow much faster. And the third difference, I would say, it's ambitions, because when you start business in Europe, for example, in Germany or in Poland, you have to establish it as a global project because you have to compete with the whole Europe. Yes, it's one common space with a circle of goods, ideas, people, money, and it's very tiny, while in Russia, the influence of globalization is not so vivid. That's why entrepreneurs are more satisfied with local levels. Yes,
Well, the country
city
is big enough
level.
as well. If you spread
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah,
nation,
yeah,
it can
yeah.
be enough.
Yes, so just to stable income to reach some level, and that's enough. They don't want to create, I don't know, global transnational corporations or something like that. So I think the lack of entrepreneurial ambition
Mhm.
is one more key difference. And what else? Well, many difference. Uh, Well, the last what I want to mention, of course, the difference towards the government. Yes, because in Europe you can work and do not face government at all until you break the law. In Russia, it's not possible. If you want to grow, you must be friends with government. You must take part in all these round tables with officials, joint working groups, photos with mayors, governors, and this is absolutely obligatory rituals. So yeah, I
Uh-huh.
think this is the main specifics, main difference.
Right, and I think that there is more future, at least at the moment, for social entrepreneurs in Russia inside the country to grow inside, right, than outside anyway. And how would you say can we support social entrepreneurship inside the country? I mean, how people can support it and make it grow, that more people would get involved and create social businesses instead of just doing normal business?
Well,
Raising more awareness about it, or more education for more entrepreneurs, or how do you see that?
And
yeah, just I think that try not to close doors for the Russian people. I think that this is my main message, because try not to cancel, yes, Russian social entrepreneurship, as there are some
Hmm.
discussions about this right now in political among politicians in different countries. Just don't close the gates. We will do everything. We will create very productive and ambitious services. Just give this opportunity, for example, to take part in international competitions. I know that there are a lot of international competitions in the world for social entrepreneurship, from Ashoka, from Eco Green, from Schwab Foundations, from many others. And yeah, if people want, they have have to get this chance to grow into international level. I think this is it will be enough absolutely nowadays.
Right. Well, from our side, we don't close doors. The top five, which we've seen today, most well then welcome join our impact community Chamomile and connect with us.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and learn from our experience if they want to.
so, and since you have been teaching so long, I mean, since '89, at least the good old times when everything was different, what would you tell to encourage the would-be entrepreneurs, both in Russia and the rest of the world, to choose for social entrepreneurs?
Well, yeah, I'm absolutely sure that with time, the whole business will become social, because environmental and social demands or restrictions, they will only increase. Yeah, and well, I'm also sure that everyone, at least once in life, should try to establish its own impact startup, because this is absolutely the instrument number one for personal growth. You will forget about all these self-awareness trainings. You will learn, yeah, you will learn how to work and teach 10 times faster than you used to. It will swallow your time, and you will learn how to deal with problems, how to communicate with people, how to see possibilities instead of obstacles, and how to earn money. And when income depends on your personal efforts, and yeah, well, because career positions, they are limited with the age and skills, but impact startups, they are always open for everyone. So yeah, try it, reward yourself with this life changing experience.
That's
Thank you.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sergey. I
Yeah,
can only agree and say,
yeah.
yeah.
I was even thinking about it while you were speaking, that this is amazing what you're saying. I mean, everybody should hear of it and everybody should at least try it out once.
Yeah,
Right.
I
And
really believe
create impact, right? Not to forget impact not only on yourself, but of course you can also create positive impact on people and environment.
And the
So
whole world needs it at this moment. Also, just if you look
absolutely.
at the environmental impact in Russia, I mean, with the melting of the ice and things like that, so I think there will be a huge demand for social entrepreneurs.
Mhm. Sergey, how can our audience support you?
Well, as I've said, I have to leave Russia. Now I live in Bulgaria. Fortunately, I have a job in Europe. I'm lucky. But yeah, I'm also interested and I'm open in expanding my professional connections here in Europe, because previously I was focused on Russia. So I would be happy to give to cooperate, also to maybe to give some lectures or webinars or seminars for European universities, for accelerators, for social startups, and maybe competition of startups. So yeah, if you like what I'm talking about, if you if you think it's interesting, so yeah, let's talk and cooperate. I'm open for you.
And how people can find you?
Where people
Yeah,
can find
And
you.
where? I
well,
mean,
yeah.
to contact you.
You can find me in LinkedIn, in Facebook, and I also have a personal website, spsocial.ru. There is an English page, and there are my contacts, my email. So I think I will leave my contacts under this video, as it's usually said. So yeah, let's keep in touch.
Great. Thanks so much. Sergey, time is running out, but we want to ask you one more call to action message to our global audience. What would you like to say?
Well, I want to say that life is short. It can change dramatically just in one night. Yeah, and don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid. Don't wait for better times. Just try to create something which will pass to your children, and try to change our reality for the better. Yes, this is my call to action. Yeah.
I think everyone is becoming very wise and consciousness is changing, which is good.
Yeah,
Which is good. So thank you, Sergey, for this very nice message and
Yeah,
joining
thank
us
you.
today, of course.
yeah,
We hope to see you somewhere in Europe soon in person.
that would
Yeah.
be perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you for this opportunity one more time.
Bye for now, Sergey. Thank you for joining us.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Dear viewers, with this, we finish the 18th episode of season 5. The coming 2 weeks, I think we have a break, right?
Yeah,
And we need to stop our non-stop 18 episodes of season 5. I think it's good for everyone, for you and for us. And please remember to subscribe on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/swithimpact. So you will be always up to date on whatever is happening in the world and how can you create positive impact in any circumstances.
and we invite all impactful businesses who are seeking investments or any kind of support to come and join us. Just apply using the email address apply@iisolutions.ch.
Yeah, or just go to impactinvesting.tv and you will
Oh yeah,
find
that's even
everything what you need to know.
exactly. And apply, and maybe we see you as our guest.
Absolutely. And for now, remember that you get more when you give back.
So always invest with impact. Bye for now.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Bye. Hi, we hope you enjoyed this episode of TV show Swiss Impact with Banerjee.
Make sure you check out the next one and also find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Spotify, podcasts, and any of your favorite social media places.
And please subscribe to our channel so you know when we release new episodes.
And also leave us some feedback to help us grow this awesome impact community and join it.
We look forward to sharing the next episodes with you, and until then, you get more when you give back.
So always invest with impact.